What's up? Welcome back to the shop and the fourth part of my Jeep 4.0 build series. I'm going to be installing the head tonight and the rockers, push rods, and lifters. And if I get time by the end of the video, hopefully I'll be able to get the valve cover refurbished and installed. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. Let's rock. Alright, you saw me getting the head installed on top there. I've just got to put in the bolts. These are the old head bolts, and I just cut the tops off so that way I could use them as guide dowels. You can see way down in there. So I cut a little slot in there so I could back them out with a screwdriver. But first I'm going to get some of the head bolts in so that way it's orientated where it needs to be and it's going to move around. And then, interesting, this hole here in the head is the only one that goes through the water jacket. So that particular head bolt gets sealant on the end. Otherwise, water will come up and leak and cause an issue. So hang tight. I'll get all these bolts in and torqued down. And I'm back. Head's installed, torqued down, looking good. If you were paying close attention, it's kind of hard to tell with the time lapse going by so fast, but I actually had to go 2 rounds on every bolt. I went 50 foot-pounds on every bolt first, and then a second round at 110. And when I was torquing them to the final spec of 110 foot-pounds, I actually marked each bolt with a paint marker. It's just sort of my way of keeping track of which bolts I've already torqued. The only bolt that didn't get 110 foot-pounds was the one that goes into the water jacket, number 11 there on the front. That one just called for 100 foot-pounds specifically in the book. So next up, it's time to throw the rockers on and the push rods. Here we go. Well, I just pulled this out of the box of fun, as it was the day I pulled it off the motor. This will be the valve cover that goes over this nice pretty engine. So I've got to clean all this grease and gunk off. Get in here. I mean, you can see it's not I mean, there's a ton of sludge buildup in there, and then it's all like baked in. So I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time on this, I think, in the parts washer, getting some of this old RTV and nasty crap off. And then I think once I get it cleaned up real good, I'm probably going to paint it the same color as the engine block. And then we'll have us a black and blue striped engine. Should be pretty fun. Well, we're in my least most favorite place in the shop, doing my least most favorite thing, which is cleaning old engine parts. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this wash tank. The solvent's getting a little tired. I'm gonna have to swap that out. I'm sure there's about a 2-inch layer of sludge on the bottom too. But it's just a fact of life. You can spend a bunch of money buying these parts new just to have them clean, or you can spend an hour or so cleaning it yourself. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll just switch on the time lapse here and we'll rock and roll. Well, I was just cleaning away on this thing, not even realizing that the old cork gasket was still stuck on there, and it's like glued in, baked on. I mean, it's really terrible. So I'm gonna fight with it off camera for a little while until I get it all clean. I'll be back. All right, that was a huge fight. There's a big mess right down here now. I've got to clean up later. Those cork gaskets suck. I hate cork gaskets. Anyway, it was glued in all the way around here. I had to actually use my heat gun and just heat it up a whole bunch, and then get after it with the scraper all the way around. And then I did some final cleanup with the wire wheel, and I'll come back through with the detail. Getting back on it with the spinny brush. So we'll get around here. The paint is just coming right off of this. I mean, it's so old and crappy that I probably could have blown it off with the air compressor. Anyway, I'm gonna get back on cleaning this up, and then we'll throw a coat of paint on it. Let's get this thing wiped down one last time and start throwing some paint on it. once again, I just got to brag about this paint. I got to tell you, I've never had a finish turn out so nice out of a rattle can, just straight up out of the rattle can like that. So it's the same paint that was on the block. Went ahead and I think I mentioned in maybe a previous clip, went ahead and just scraped off the tops of this to give it a little bit of a I don't know, a look like somebody cares, I guess. We're gonna go ahead and get this installed on the motor. I gotta get it cleaned up a little bit first, and then I got my new Felpro gasket in. It's another one of these like wire-backed silicone gaskets that's reusable. Cool thing about these is they have these little, I didn't show this in the oil pan one, but they have these little grommets that are installed, and those actually prevent you from over tightening the bolt all the way down and actually smashing this to the point where it's ineffective. So kind of a cool thing. One more thing I forgot to mention, I went ahead and cleaned up all the bolts that go around this and painted them all like I've done before, and they turned out pretty nice. I just can't bring myself to put nasty, oily, rusty bolts into a nice freshly painted valve cover. So something else I didn't show you on the valve cover is I actually went inside here. These were all black. I took them out. There was actually a little metal baffle in there that comes out, and there's a gasket on both sides, and I didn't have the gasket, but I do have gasket material, so I remade the gaskets and sandwiched them in there. They seem pretty solid. Turned out pretty nice, so at least those are cleaned up and working appropriately. That's going to do it for the Jeep 4.0 build for now. I'm going to wrap it up, stick it in the corner until it's ready to go in the car. Stick around, follow me on the channel. I'm going to be working on this Pacer and a bunch of other projects. If you got a minute, leave me a comment down below. Like and subscribe. You can hit the little bell. It'll notify you when I put up new stuff. I really appreciate everybody hanging out with me. We'll see you on the next one.